How long has this book sat on your shelf or your reading list? Let's get it off the shelf and into your hands, making it all the way to the end twice in just 18 days using a straightforward 3-step plan. I promise those other books won't get lonely. Ulysses by James Joyce, often hailed as one of the greatest novels of the 20th century, presents a unique challenge for readers. Its reputation for being a tough read isn't unfounded. The novel's elaborate style and rich content make it difficult for even the most avid book lovers. Here's a closer look at what makes Ulysses such a challenging, yet rewarding read. Firstly, the narrative style of Ulysses is a significant hurdle. Joyce famously employs a technique known as stream of consciousness, which mirrors the natural flow of thoughts and feelings in the human mind, which can disorient readers. Joyce is also renowned for his experimental use of language, including the invention of new words, unusual syntax, and playful use of existing words. This linguistic experimentation adds to the novel's depth, but also decreases the ease of readability. And then the novel is packed with literary and historical references that can confound you. And, of course, it's a thick book. You can't just breeze through it. It demands time, attention, and patience. This is reflected in the Hawking Index, a measure based on Kindle reading data, which estimates that only about 1.7% of people who start reading Ulysses on Kindle see it through to the end. This statistic is not just a number. It clearly indicates how demanding this novel can be. And despite these challenges, Ulysses remains a celebrated book many aspire to read and understand. Its complexity is also its charm, offering a reading experience that's deeply immersive and intellectually stimulating. So, if you've had this goal of finishing Ulysses, let's see how you can do it in 18 days, not just once, but twice, with a method that simplifies the complex and turns reading into an achievable, enjoyable experience. I've read Ulysses before, multiple times, but I remember it wasn't easy. As an English professor, I must periodically reread things so it's fresh in my mind. And over time, I've discovered paths that make reading notoriously difficult books manageable and enjoyable. And that's exactly what I want to share. An 18-day plan that transforms Ulysses from an intimidating enigma into an accessible, enriching experience. I've done it just last month, and so can you. Why 18 days, you might ask? Well, Ulysses has 18 episodes, each with unique flavor and style. And by dedicating a day to each episode, you give yourself the space to really get to know the book one step at a time. This approach breaks down the novel into bite-sized pieces, making it less overwhelming. It's like taking a scenic hike where each day brings a new landscape and wonders. And this 3-step method to read Ulysses not once but essentially twice in 18 days is a structured yet flexible plan that caters to different reading paces and styles. Whether you're a fast reader who can zip through pages or likes to take time to soak in every word, this plan adapts to your rhythm at some point. The key here is to finish the book and understand and appreciate it. Beauty of reading Ulysses in this way is that it turns a solitary endeavor into an adventure you'll hopefully look forward to each day. You'll notice how each episode has its charm, how the characters evolve, how themes interweave through the story. And the best part? You don't need to be a Joyce scholar or a literary expert to follow this 3-step strategy. All you need is a curious mind and the willingness to try. Before we get into the 3 steps, see that subscribe button. It's a good time to use it. Also, watch to the end because I'll point you towards some other great tips for reading Ulysses. But let's keep going. You clicked how to learn to do this after all. Reading the novel twice in 18 days may sound impossible, especially if you've tried before and found yourself stuck. But you will apply 3 steps each day that will clear the biggest obstacles. The novel is divided into 18 episodes, each distinct in style, length, and complexity. And this unique structure of Ulysses forms the foundation of our reading plan, where each day is dedicated to 1 episode. Of course, that means some days will be easier than others, but that's life. Consider episode 2, Nestor, which would come on day 2. At a mere 14 pages, it's one of the shorter, more straightforward chapters. This part of the book offers a smoother reading experience, allowing you to ease into the rhythm and language of Joyce without feeling overwhelmed. In contrast, episode 14, Oxen of the Sun, which comes on day 14, is known for its complexity. This episode showcases evolving English language styles, presenting a more challenging reading experience, to say the least. It's like a maze of words and styles. However, with the guided approach of our plan, you will be well equipped to appreciate and understand even these denser segments of the novel. Our 18-day plan isn't just about reading, it's about fully engaging with and understanding Ulysses. After all, there's not much point in finishing it, even twice, if you come out as confused as you went in on the other side. We'll take time with each episode, ensuring a comprehensive and reflective reading experience, and this methodical approach helps absorb Joyce's narrative fully, enhancing your connection with the characters and their stories. So 3 steps each day, repeated for 18 days, can get you there. Beginning this daily process, the first step is what I like to call light reading. This initial foray into each day's episode is all about getting a feel for the story without getting too entangled in the details. It's not as cursory as a quick skim, but it's also not a close reading. In this first step, the goal is to read the day's episode relaxed and open-mindedly. Don't worry about understanding every reference or decoding every sentence. Instead, focus on the story's overall flow and the language's general feel. It's like watching the waves in the ocean. You're there to observe and get a sense of the rhythm, not to count every ripple. And by the way, the sea plays a role in the novel. Using digital resources can be particularly helpful during this stage. Platforms like JoyceProject.com offer a great way to read Ulysses without the temptation to scribble notes in the margins. In fact, I don't want you to make a single annotation in your text in this first step. This can free your mind to engage with the text more spontaneously, allowing you to experience Joyce's writing more fluidly and naturally. And as you read, let your mind wander and wonder. Pay attention to what stands out to you, whether it's a peculiar phrase, a vivid character, or a scene that strikes a chord. Mental snapshots are your first impressions, raw and unfiltered. They are valuable insights into how the text speaks to you personally, beyond scholarly analyses and interpretations. And once you've finished lightly reading the episode for the day, take a moment to reflect. Then grab a Post-it note and jot down your immediate thoughts and feelings. This could be anything from a single word that encapsulated the episode for you, a question that popped into your mind, or a summary of what you think happened. I jotted down themes, motifs, and symbols that stood out. The key here is brevity. The limited space on a Post-it note encourages you to distill your thoughts to their essence. Also, it only has to make sense to you, so don't worry about structuring what you put on it in any particular fashion. This light reading and note-taking process is the foundation for deeper engagement with the text. By capturing your initial reactions, you're laying the groundwork for more in-depth analysis later. And these notes will also be valuable to you as you progress through the book, helping you to identify and connect recurring ideas. So, as you begin each day's reading, remember to keep it light and enjoyable. Beyond that Post-it note at the end, do not scribble in the margins or highlight a thing. Use a digital copy for the first read if you think you can't control yourself. And this is your first step in building a personal connection with Ulysses based on your unique perspective and experience without anyone else telling you what to think and without overthinking it. Enjoy the flow of Joyce's story and let your curiosity guide you through this initial exploration. After your initial reading of each episode in Ulysses, the next step is to turn to a companion guide. A companion guide is like a friendly expert who can help shed light on the more obscure parts of the novel. It can deepen your understanding, highlighting elements that might have slipped past you and clarifying confusing sections during your first light read. Think of the guide as a knowledgeable friend joining you in a museum, pointing out details in a painting you might not have noticed. It can offer context, background, and insights that transform your understanding of the text. For instance, a guide can explain the significance of historical references or literary allusions that Joyce uses, making the text come alive in ways you might not have experienced during your initial read. Some of the resources I recommend include the New Bloomsday book by Harry Blumeiris and A Reader's Guide to James Joyce by William York Tyndall. These books are written specifically to help readers navigate the waters of Joyce's writing. And in addition to these, there are several free online resources available. Websites like the Ulysses Project offer detailed interpretations of each episode and don't cost a thing. and I'll include a link in the video description for easy access. You could even use an episode summary and analysis YouTube video if you need a break from reading and feel that better fits your style. As you consult these companion guides, balancing their insights and your interpretations is important. While these guides offer helpful explanations and context, your connection and thoughts about the text are equally important. Use these resources to build on your understanding, not replace it. And that is a prime reason to capture your initial thoughts on the post-it note in the first step, so you retain your first impressions. Finally, remember that consulting companion guides enhances your enjoyment and understanding of Ulysses. It's not about memorizing every detail or understanding every reference Joyce made. The goal is to gain a clearer, more informed perspective on the novel, which will enrich your reading experience. The third and final step in our approach to Ulysses is what I like to call the detailed reread. This step is where everything comes together, where the insights from a companion guide and your initial impressions fuse to create a deeper understanding. It's like watching a movie for the second time. You're more aware of the finer details and subtle hints you might have missed the first time. And in this phase, your task is to revisit the same episode you've read and explored with the help of a guide. But this time, you're equipped with new knowledge and perspectives. This reread is more than just going over the text again. It's your opportunity to dig deeper to uncover the hidden gems within Joyce's prose. And during this detailed reread, feel free to annotate your book all you want. Underline passages that strike you, write notes in the margins, question, ponder, or even argue with the text. Annotation is a powerful tool in this process. It allows you to engage directly with Joyce's words and to converse with the text. And this interaction can lead to a more profound appreciation of the novel's intricacies, characters, and themes. As you annotate, pay attention to the elements you might have overlooked during your light reading. There could be a recurring symbol you didn't notice before, or a character's motivation that becomes clearer upon that second look. This is your chance to piece together the puzzle of Ulysses, connecting the dots between different episodes, themes, and literary techniques. It's also important to consider how the insights from the companion guide align with your interpretations. Sometimes it might confirm your thoughts, and other times it might offer a different perspective. This is the beauty of a detailed reread. It opens a space for dialogue between different interpretations, enriching your understanding of the novel. And remember, the goal of this detailed reread is not just to get everything in Ulysses. Joyce's novel is famously dense and complex, and it's okay to not grasp every aspect. The aim is to build a more robust understanding of the novel and to appreciate its beauty and depth. Finally, as you undertake this detailed reread, keep an open mind. Allow yourself to be surprised, to discover new things, and to see the text in a new light. This approach to reading Ulysses is not just about finishing a book. It's about experiencing the story, one that challenges and rewards in equal measure. So each day, you take a new episode. You do a light read with no notes except what you can fit on a post-it at the end. You then read what a companion guide says about the episode to gain additional insight and perspective. And then once you're truly oriented to the episode, you give a reading and annotating a full go. If you're writing a paper, you're prepared for a fourth step of scanning through your post-its to see where connections might lie, helping you narrow down an essay topic. But really, it's just 3 steps. And this 3-step method helps get you through a challenging book and can unlock the richness and depth of any complex literary work. By breaking down Ulysses into manageable parts, focusing on initial impressions, supplementing with a companion guide, and then revisiting the text for a detailed analysis, we've turned what could be an overwhelming challenge into a rewarding experience. This approach is a key that can open many doors. Just as we've used it to navigate Joyce's Dublin's winding streets and hidden alleys, you can apply the same principles to other challenging texts. This 3-step method provides a framework for understanding and appreciating complicated writing, enabling you to connect more deeply with the material. You gain a comprehensive understanding of the themes, characters, and stylistic nuances by engaging with the text on multiple levels: initial impressions, guided exploration, and detailed analysis. This isn't about skimming through pages. It's about truly immersing yourself in the literary world the author has created. Moreover, this method encourages active reading, a skill beneficial in all areas of life. Active reading involves critical thinking, questioning, and connecting ideas, which are invaluable skills in both academic and professional settings. And by applying this structured approach to your reading habits, you're not just enjoying literature, but also honing critical life skills. Once you experience this method, you'll see that even the most daunting texts can be enjoyable when approached with the right mindset and tools. So take this method with you once you close the final page of Ulysses and look to your next literary foray. Use it to explore new worlds, challenge yourself, and find joy in literature's beauty. Whether Finnegan's Wake, Infinite Jest, or Gravity's Rainbow. And earlier, I promised you some extra tips beyond this 3-step process I've used to read Ulysses in 18 days. You'll find that on this next video on how not to read Ulysses. And if you haven't already, push that subscribe button and enable notifications because I bet there will be some future videos of interest to you.